Okay, hello.
But closer.
Closer?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, first, thank you all for being here today. I'm not a very practiced public speaker, so I will just try to talk a little bit from my background. Maybe it's useful. So I trained as a medical doctor first in Germany, and after that I trained in medical microbiology.
Louder.
Okay.
There you go.
I am a medical doctor by training and a medical microbiologist as well. So this happens to be right up my street. So I want to talk a little bit about the background of this. The first question we might ask is, how dangerous is COVID? Okay, we first heard in the spring all people dying like flies and this kind of thing. So the first surprising report that came out was from Italy, and this reported that the average age of those succumbing
Everyone just got a heart attack.
Okay. Okay. So the first report came out of Italy, and that report said that the average age of those succumbing to COVID was above 80 years, and that more than 99% of all people who did die of it already had a severe underlying condition. Very shortly after, there was a similar report out of Germany from Professor Klaus Büchel aus Hamburg. He is the head of the forensic medicine there. He looked over more than 100 autopsies of people who have been chalked up to COVID, and he declared not a single one of them did not have a severe underlying disease. These were all cases that could have legitimately chalked up to cancer and to other severe diseases. There was no one who simply died of COVID and nothing else.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And then a piece of just small evidence in a small way. My own daughter, she is a pediatrician in a regional hospital in northern Germany. This hospital cares for 180,000 people. Peak COVID arrived at this hospital in March. Do you want to guess how many patients they had? Was it 7,700 or 7? It was 7, very good. It was 7. Out of these 7 patients, yep, there was only one in intensive care, just one. And during the entire time, since March till today, at this hospital, there has not been a single fatality. This hospital cares for almost 200,000 people. It is the hospital for these people, and they have not had a single fatality. Okay? That tells you all you need to know, actually. Good. Now, another question. The first time I heard about this second wave that we're going to have was in April. I thought, what? The second wave of an infectious disease is about the same thing as a bottle of beer that refills automatically, okay? A bottle of beer only goes one way, and it's the same with a virus infection. The more people it infects, the fewer remain to be infected, okay? Simple as that. So where would the second wave come from? But it was treated as a fact. Now fall is here, the second wave is here. How did that work? Okay? How did that work?
Sorry, when you're waiting.
It did work. Now, all you need to know all you need to do in order to understand how this worked, you simply need to look how the testing guidelines issued by Health Ontario evolved over time. Okay? In laboratory testing I will just use an analogy. In laboratory testing for infectious diseases, we often use an approach that's similar to gold panning. Okay? If you want to pan gold, you have lots of dirt and a tiny bit of gold. So you use a 2-stage approach. You fill your pan with this bit of dirt, you wash off all the mud. Okay? At this first stage, you care about not losing any gold. So you want to wash out only the mud, but you want to keep the gold. That means you also keep lots of pebbles, but you will deal with those later on. Okay? So then you have a second test stage, during which you sift through the gold and the pebbles, and you discard the pebbles. Now, the initial testing guidelines for Ontario, they were not really good, but they had at least some semblance of this 2-stage process. So there was indeed a confirmation stage, at which those cases, those samples that tested positive in the first round were actually checked again, and then the negatives that turned up there were discarded. Okay? Now, on August 6th, Ontario issued a guideline in which this... Okay. Okay. On August 6th, they issued guidelines in which the second stage was summarily discarded. Now, everything that remains after you wash off the mud is declared gold. This is how it works. This is how the testing now works. You have a pan that's full of pebbles, and Health Ontario declares it's all gold. Okay? Now, how do they get away with it? Simple. They do not only run the panning, they also run the weighing. And they no longer empty the bags into the scale pan. They just put the bags just sealed in there and declare this is all gold. And the only part they don't play is they don't pay for this. This is left to us. We pay the bill for this shit, okay? This is how that works. Okay, now that's bad enough, right? But it actually gets worse. They have another testing guideline. They now also introduced, also in August, they introduced antibody testing. And now everybody who has IgG antibodies against this is also declared a case. Okay? Now, how many of you have had measles or have been vaccinated against measles?
Hell no.
How many of you have had it twice?
Hell no.
If anyone can prove to me they have had it twice, I will give them $100, Canadian or Canadian Tire, according to your preference. Okay? So, why don't you get measles twice? Because you have those antibodies. If somebody tests in normal times, okay, if you go to your doctor and your doctor finds antibodies against one or other virus, he will say, good news, you are immune. Go forth and enjoy your life. Okay? Now, nowadays, all of a sudden, it means you are a case. By that definition, you are all measles cases. Just go home right now, lie down in bed, because measles is a dangerous disease. So, this is the kind of abuse they are foisting on us. In normal times, if you were a medical student and you would propose in an exam, somebody with antibodies is a case, you would be lucky to go out of that exam room alive. You know, they would chop off your head for such incompetence. Now, all of a sudden, this is official science. This is the science of virology that is foisted on the public. Okay? Now, what can we conclude from this? This science is so bad, this cannot be explained away as incompetence. This is not incompetence, this is deliberate. Okay? So what we have to conclude from this is that the government of Ontario, the government of Canada, and generally speaking, the governments of the world are using scientific fraudulent science in order to promote this hoax, in order to promote this grab of freedom and the taking away of the welfare, okay? Okay, I guess that's what I wanted to say, and thank you again for turning out today. It's a great experience to be here. Thank you.